Today, we're diving into the incredible world of forensic archaeology. This is a field where scientists read stories that aren't written in books, but in the soil itself. We're talking about a world where every single layer of dirt can be a chapter in a mystery, and the ground holds secrets that can literally solve crimes. So think about this for a second. This is pretty much an investigator's worst nightmare. The evidence isn't just missing, it's been intentionally hidden, buried, and completely wiped from view. When your crime scene is an entire landscape, where do you even begin to dig for the truth? Well, you start with the official playbook. This right here is the manual from the European Network of Forensic Science Institutes, or ENFSI for short. You can think of it as the ultimate guide to uncovering buried truths, a set of rules that ensures justice isn't just lost to the earth. All right, first, let's tackle the biggest challenge. How do you get the earth to talk? We're dealing with crime scenes where the most important clues are totally silent, buried deep down right beneath our feet. Now, what makes this manual so incredibly important isn't just the science inside. It's about creating a universal language for evidence that works all across Europe. I mean, imagine a crime that spans several countries. This playbook makes sure that evidence dug up in Spain is just as solid and valid in a German courtroom. It's what makes true international justice even possible. So, when the clues are buried 6 feet under, who do you call? It's not your typical detective, that's for sure. It's a specialist, someone who reads the past to solve the crimes of the present. And this is it. This is where archaeology and the law collide. Forensic archaeology isn't just about digging around in the dirt. It's an incredibly precise science. The whole goal is to piece together the timeline of a crime, to figure out the when and the how by reading the layers of the earth. And their expertise is needed in some of the most difficult situations imaginable. We're talking about everything from locating the hidden graves of murder victims to documenting evidence of war crimes and genocide. Their work literally gives a voice to people who can no longer speak for themselves. It's a really powerful tool for both justice and remembrance. And let's be absolutely clear about something. This isn't a weekend hobby. The manual really hammers this point home. Forensic archaeology is a serious, scientific discipline. Gaining real expertise takes years of education and dedicated training. And it's that level of professionalism that makes sure the evidence they find will actually stand up in court. So what's in their toolkit? Well, it's this fascinating mix of super high-tech gear and, ancient techniques. Everything is designed to see what's hidden just below the surface.
They really work on 2 totally different scales. From way up high, they're using satellites and drones to scan huge areas, looking for tiny little changes that you'd never see with the naked eye. But then, once they've pinpointed a spot, they switch to the slow, careful, hands-on work of a traditional archaeologist, where a tiny brush is way more powerful than a bulldozer.
And believe it or not, some of the most important work happens before they even step foot on the site. This is what they call the desk research phase. They become historical detectives, poring over old maps, satellite photos, and construction records to really understand the story of the land. It's all this planning that makes their work in the field so incredibly precise. Okay, so now we're on site. This is where the real magic happens. The archaeologist has to become a translator, interpreting the silent language of the soil. The absolute key to everything is a concept called stratigraphy. I want you to imagine the ground is like a book that's been written over centuries. Every layer of soil is a page, and a buried object is like a sentence on that page. By reading these pages in the right order, they can see exactly where the story has been disturbed, where a new, darker chapter has been written. That's how they can pinpoint the exact moment a crime took place. And this is where the pressure is just immense. As the manual itself says, excavation is a one-way street. The very act of uncovering evidence destroys it. They get one shot, one single shot to do it right. Every little detail has to be captured before it's gone for good. So how do you manage that kind of pressure? Well, you do it with a process that's as precise as surgery. First, they create a detailed plan. Then they peel back the layers of the earth one by one with painstaking care. Everything gets documented in 3D, creating a perfect virtual copy of the site. Every single handful of soil is sifted and every piece of evidence is sealed and tracked. It creates a chain of custody that stretches all the way from the dirt to the courtroom. But all of this incredible, difficult work in the field means absolutely nothing if it can't actually deliver justice. The final, and maybe most critical, challenge is to take these discoveries from the soil to the stand. And that brings us back to the ultimate purpose of the NFSI manual. to make sure the evidence is completely bulletproof. Every single procedure is designed to ensure the findings are so solid, so reliable, that they can withstand the toughest cross-examination in any court, anywhere in the world.
So how do they guarantee that level of quality? It's all built on a foundation of just relentless scientific rigor. Every method they use is tested and validated. Every expert is constantly being assessed. Every piece of equipment is perfectly calibrated, and every single finding is reviewed by their peers. This obsession with perfection is what turns a discovery in the dirt into an undeniable fact in a courtroom.
Because in the end, all of this science, all of this process, it all serves a deeply human purpose. It's about giving a voice back to the voiceless. It ensures that even after years of silence, the dead can still tell their stories, and that those stories can finally be heard, believed, and acted upon by a court of law. And this all leads to a final, really important question. As criminals get more sophisticated and find new ways to cover their tracks, how will this science have to evolve to meet that challenge? It's this constant race between the people who bury the truth and the people who are determined, no matter what, to bring it back into the light.